Hey everybody, Adam Phillips here for Dynamite Entertainment, and I'm here today with David AVALLONE, acclaimed writer. He's acclaimed.
If you
And
say so.
but you've got a cool new project coming up, Elvira in Horrorland #1, which is coming in May.
Yes.
And it looks like a lot of fun with sort of a tribute to some of the great horror moments of the past. I don't want to give too much away, and I want to let you do it.
Sure,
So
I'll do the giving away.
if you could give it, yeah, get us started here.
It built out of Elvira meets Vincent Price.
Right.
We did as sometimes happens with Dynamite, and I will never in my life complain about this. They wanted a 4-issue miniseries. I gave them a 4-issue miniseries, and what sometimes happens is issue 1 sells really well, and they're like, "Can you do maybe 1 or 2 more of these?" And this time it was only 1. And that was Elvira meets Vincent Price #5. Dropped or drops, depending on when this runs, on March 9th. And in that issue, that's a standalone issue in which Elvira discovers through Vincent that all movies have create their own little pocket parallel dimensions in which the movie just plays. The people in that universe just relive their lives for the 2 hours or 3 hours or 90 minutes of the movie over and over again. I thought it was an interesting concept. And when we did it in Elvira meets Vincent Price, the idea was of a creepy horror movie director who's obsessed with his final girl leading lady, and she won't give him the time of day in real life. So he basically traps her in his own slasher movie with him. And Elvira and Vincent rescue her. But at the end of issue 5, spoiler alert, the actress goes back to the real world. Vincent goes back to the afterlife, and Elvira finds herself stranded in essentially Psycho. For reasons of parody and copyright law and whatever, all of these things are parody versions of the originals. The hotel is called Block's Hotel instead of Bates Hotel. And I believe that he's Norbert Block instead of Norman Bates and things like that.
I like it.
And for those who don't know, Robert Block is the author of Psycho and an old friend, long gone friend of mine. So I like honoring Bob at every possible. I think the first issue is called Block Party or Once Around the Block or something. Some pun on Bob's name that he would have loved. Yeah.
I noticed, looking at the solicitation from issue 2, which won't be out for a couple of weeks yet, but I did notice that there's another hotel setting.
Yes.
Second story.
I didn't even think about that when I set it up. I was just going for the things that I thought were funniest.
Well, sure. That too.
And Psycho is just a great classic thing to make fun of.
Yep.
And to work with. And yeah, The Shining was just a really obvious. And that issue, my favorite title I've ever come up with was Stoker, I Hardly Know Her, for the Bram Stoker issue of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. But that issue 2 is She's a Kubrick House, which I am extremely proud of.
I hear you.
As a dumb title. Issue 3 titles possibly might be, and people can figure out for themselves what the franchise I'll be making fun of in that one is, will either be called Ridley's Believe It or Not or Geiger Encounter. If you like your inside jokes.
I think I might know which direction you're going there.
Yeah.
I like it.
So that'll also be a fun one. And yeah, walking the thin line of parody and and steering clear of legal consequences.
Yes.
The artist on this book is Sylvia Califano.
Yes.
Who is amazing. And I was thinking about artists whose work I like, who are good with likenesses, equipment, who are working with something where they're forced to be really photo accurate a lot. And I went, well, Sylvia's work on Star Trek Year 5 is great. And that woman is spending all day drawing phasers that look like phasers and Starfleet uniforms that look like Starfleet uniforms. And, she's not going to object to drawing a U.S. Army uniform from 1944. That is not going to throw her off at all. And she has been a delight to work with. I did a Kickstarter book with her that hasn't dropped yet, which will be called The Death of Elvira, which should interest people.
Nice.
I don't know when that's coming, but you can sign. it's got to sign up to find out when it drops on Indiegogo.
Oh,
And
great.
that will of course be through Dynamite. And yeah, because of that, I didn't even have to ask on this. Joe Ryban, the editor-in-chief, was like, hey, how about we just keep going with Sylvia on Elvira and Horrorland? I was like, excuse me. Oh yes, absolutely. She's
Very
fantastic.
cool.
So
so what is it like writing a TV personality who you've heard for years? I mean, do you have to try to capture that voice, or is it hard?
oh yeah, it's no, it's, I mean, to my pleasant surprise, there is clearly some part of me that is a Catskill showgirl. I've talked about this before too, but the genius of what Cassandra came up with is that everyone else who has done that kind of horror vamp character, it's always the same in a nice way, but there's not a lot of oxygen between Lily Munster and Morticia Adams and Vampira. It's all very languid and a little bit European and a little bit, low key to balance out the madman of the husband character a lot. And Cassandra went, no, I'm going to do none of that. This is going to be the all-American girl next door, right out of Playboy magazine, really. The Playboy magazine of what the girl next door looks like and acts like.
Yeah.
And do it that way and give it that Catskills comic edge that you're just not used to seeing from that visual character,
Cool.
So once you figure out that that's what it is, it's been shockingly easy. And I will say, my wife is a burlesque dancer. I've spent a lot of time in and out of that world. And so I am not that woman, but I have spent a lot of my life around around showgirls, around burlesque halls, around Playboy Playmates, that kind of thing, professionally working in Hollywood. And so it's not like an alien species from another world to me. It's something I understand, I think about as well as straight guy can.
Well, we'll have to hear more about that another time. But right now we're going to show the covers for this series, for the first issue, excuse me. And there's a selection of fine variant covers. You can tell your comic shop retailer that you definitely need to get on board with issue 1, which covers you want. Maybe you want all of them. We won't stop you.
Not at all.
And David, it's a pleasure to talk to you as always.
Always a pleasure talking to you, Adam.
Looking forward to reading it real soon. It's coming up in May. Thanks, everybody.